going on, y'all? It's our culture HBCU. HBCU stands for Homecoming Brings Culture and Unity. And today, we got a special guest. We got a guest who actually started his own charter school that's HBCU themed. Man, look at that, man. You want to talk about paving the way forward. It doesn't get any better than that. So, Mr. Cameron Frazier, introduce yourself, where you're from, and why did you start this so special school that you started here in Jacksonville?
Thank you for the opportunity to be here. My name is Cameron Frazier, and I'm the founder and principal of Becoming Collegiate Academy, Jacksonville's first HBCU-inspired elementary school. I'm from Jacksonville, born and raised, and I started Becoming Collegiate Academy, which is the elementary school located right here in Jacksonville, with the inspiration to create a space for all students to belong. And starting in school, I wanted a space where all, like our Black and brown kids can come to, Black kids specifically can come to, and feel a sense of community, feel a sense of love. Our school is directly inspired by HBCUs, because if you think about the HBCU experience, and you all being HBCU alums, like you can speak to it yourselves, is like that experience, it provided you with a place to belong. And growing up, I didn't always have that, thinking about my elementary school, middle school, high school experience, and even college. Like I always didn't have a space to belong or people around me who looked like me. So it was an amazing opportunity to create an opportunity for our students to be in an environment that's focused in on culture, and not just culture, but the positive aspects of it, and pulling that out to inspire them to do it and want better.
Okay. You Greek as well?
I am. Yep.
Hope you chose the right frat, hopefully.
I did. I chose the best, the first. Nothing else matters.
Oh, man, I wonder what that is, the first. I don't know. I mean, is your Founders Day tomorrow by any chance?
Oh, no, sir. The real first.
How many was on your line, man?
2.
Wow.
Yeah.
So going to, TSU, you probably, like you said, you spent some time there. We got big lines,
Oh, yeah.
So it's actually, when I moved to the DC area, I would meet guys. They'd be like, how many of them say your line? I'm like 22. They like, how? I'm like, bro, we was in the living room smaller than a closet, but we was tight in the joint.
Made it work.
So it's actually pretty cool to hear people that went to PWIs like, how many of them say your line? They like 3 or 4. And, I'm like, man, I couldn't imagine it being less than 5 people in the room with me, because it's like that line. That's
all the attention.
Quick rotation.
Yeah, all the attention on you. And even though rotation, it's like playing tennis at that point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, everybody, you on the whole time. You have no downtime. It's like you all on. So it's tough.
Man, that is so dope. So just woke up one day, said, I'm going to start a school. Like, how does that process work? Like, most people just don't start schools. I mean, I know we got this process. We're throwing cookies, right?
Like it was stressful, and I want to hear this, please.
Oh, man, it was crazy. Yeah,
it was a good
journey. It's been a journey. So I started back in. Well, first off, I've been in education for over a decade. A lot of people tell me I look young, but I've been in the game for over a decade now. And I was working in Nashville, Tennessee. And I was working at a charter school there, one of the largest charter school network in the country. It was just inspired. Like I knew I was doing right work, but just in the wrong community. I was working in North Nashville. I loved it, but my heart was always in Jacksonville. And I remember I would always follow like Duval News. And I remember like seeing a newspaper clip, and it was like, it read 53 kids, I believe that was the number. 53 kids had been shot at that point in the year in North Jacksonville. And I just kept, to me, like that was not representative of the community that I grew up in, the community that I love. And that's not the narrative that I wanted to be, reflected of North Jacksonville. So, I packed my bags, came back home to Jacksonville, and I, made a post on Facebook. I'm gonna start a school. And the community wrapped their arms around me, and it was truly beautiful. creating a charter school is a process. It's a lot of red tape that you have to go through. And, you know, we got knocked down a couple times, but each time we got back up. We started in 2019. Our charter was approved in 2020, but obviously COVID played a big role in our founding and our story. So that was difficult. And then, you know, it's just a process. You know, you have to find the funding. You have to, you know, get the support. You have to build a board. You have to write the charter. You know, a charter application is, you know, 100-page written narrative. But all in all, you know, I submitted over a 500-page document to the school board. And, you know, they send it back to you, give you feedback, tell you no. You have to go back and keep trying again. So it definitely was a process, but it was a labor of love. And I couldn't have done it without, you know, the community support, without my board support. And, you know, Jacksonville, you know, they really wrapped their arms. North Jacksonville as a whole, but North Jacksonville, wrapped their arms around the ideal, and we made it happen.
I know you said you've been in the school system for a while, and you also work for a charter school, but did you lean on some higher ups to kind of learn some in and outs and kind of how to go about it? Or did you reach out to LeBron James, he created a school, people like that? Did you reach out to these people or their team to try to understand how to go about it? Because, I mean, it sounds like it was a difficult journey, man, to kind of get this thing rolling and actually come into fruition.
Yeah, it was. I didn't reach out to LeBron. I didn't have the LeBron or the Diddy connects. But there are some heroes out there that's doing the work every single day. And, you know, I'm highlighted as a Black leader who started a school, but I'm not the first to do so. There are many Black leaders who are leading the cause in their respective, you know, cities. And I had a lot of guiding lights. I like to call them guiding lights. I had a lot of guiding lights to help me along the way. First and foremost, you know, my principal from Nashville, you know, she started the school and I was her founding assistant principal. So I helped her start the school. So I got direct experience those 2 years. Well, when I went to Nashville, I was always a part of founding teams. So I was always a part of new charter schools. So that was an interesting experience. I was a part of a school that was in its second year, that was fully grown. I was a part of a school that was in its third year. I was the dean of students there. And then when I joined Krista and joined her team, I was her founding assistant principal. We started from the ground up. So I got that direct experience and learning the intricacies of doing it from the principal level, but more so from the executive director level and raising money and all of that. I had a lot of people who helped me along the way. I was a part of a cohort. So I was part of a fellowship my first year at the Freedom Fellows Institute. And it took 6 leaders from all across the country. And we all opened up schools in our respective hometowns, all pretty much situated in the South. Well, most of us situated in the South. So a few in Atlanta, 2 in Atlanta, 1 in Hawaii. So she was not in the South, 1 in New York, 1 in Alabama, and then I was Jacksonville. And we were all Black. We were opening up identity-centered, focused schools. And we was doing this before it was even popular, right? I feel it got popular after COVID. We was doing it before, doing the deep work before COVID. I've been blessed to travel across the country, see, you know, great schools. I worked with a great network. I worked with great networks, but I was also able to see wonderful schools in action and see what it is that I want, what it is that I don't want. And I was able to just have the time to dream, but dream with others who are dreaming as well. And, you know, we made it happen. So my cohort members are definitely first and foremost, you know, we got each other back and, you know, they got my back and I love it. I love them for the support. But I've also had some other leaders who started schools who, you know, single site schools, some who've grown to multiple schools within the network, and they all have just provided me with support, Black and white. You know, I know it's, you know, we're talking Black right now, but I've had a lot of people just wrap their arms. And when you're doing good work and you're doing it from the heart, I feel you know, people, you know, they wrap their arms around you and they support, and has helped me get to where I'm at today.
We see, of course, a famous person who's going through the process, Dr. Umar Johnson, and it seems like he's kind of going through stumbling blocks. It's a great idea with the school he wants to create. It's a vocational school. It helps individuals with life skills. Why do you think you was able to turn your idea into a school so quickly?
God, man, you know, I'm just a carrier of a vision. You know, I'm a vessel being used, and the vision was given to me. And I think one thing is that the vision was strong. Like the vision was extremely strong. It was strong before, like, you know, like HBCUs have always been like popular, but like I feel like during COVID, like it was like a national, like everybody talking about like HBCUs and the prominence of them. But like I had started this idea before that, right? So like the idea was strong, and then the support from the community. Like I'm from Jacksonville, born and raised, and I've just like received so much love locally, even nationally, but really locally from people. And it was just like, the school had a buzz, like everybody talking about it, like people supporting it. And it is like the community, the local community definitely like helped get BCA off the ground. And like, you need that. And a lot of people open up schools, and I'm not talking about Dr. Umar, anybody in particular, but you know, like a lot of people like to drop schools and communities and not know the community that they dropping the school in. This school was specifically designed with Jacksonville, North Jacksonville in mind. I graduated from high school in North Jacksonville. My grandma lives like 2 blocks down from the school. So like, this is home. This is my community. I know this community. So like I was able to speak directly to parents, speak directly into to what they want for their kids. And, you know, like we just was able to make it happen. It wasn't a short journey, but in comparison to others, I can see where it was. But, you know, it definitely took us time as well.
I'll get down to the nitty gritty. So HBCU thing, like what's the day in the life like at this the school you created? I mean, is it bands playing, music playing in the hallway? Like, you know, y'all got some drum majors, you know, outside the pet rally. Like what's the theme like? I want to hear about it.
Yeah. So like we are an HBCU-inspired elementary school, and the main focus of our school is taking the best practices from HBCUs and infuse them in our culture. So those practices include, you know, building positive relationships, holding high expectations. So like those things are like infused in our culture every single day, all day. So when our brown bears, we refer to our students as brown bears. When our brown bears get out the car, like they receive an intentional affirmative greeting. When they greet me at the door, it's an affirmative greeting. When they greet the next person at the next door, it's an affirmative greeting. When they greet their teacher into the classroom, it's an affirmative greeting. So we like start their day off on a positive note. We have music playing. I'm big on music. I love music. So we always have music playing. We come together as a community. So we have community circle. And that's just an opportunity for us to like get excited about the day and celebrate each other. And just like, it's my opportunity to teach the school as well. Because at the end of the day, say it again.
A little homecoming kind of feel.
Yeah, a little homecoming kind of feel. We did have a homecoming this year. Our homecoming, our founding date is October 6th. So we had our first homecoming. It was amazing. We had a whole week. We had like parents come out. Like parental involvement is like really like one of the like things I love about our school. Like our parents are like truly involved. And we create the opportunity for them to be involved. So like homecoming was dope. We had like a barbecue on a Friday. Parents came out, community came out. We just had like a great time. So we like to take and infuse like those like best like practices from HBCUs. Like we teach about HBCUs. All of their classrooms are named after HBCUs, and they learn about those HBCUs in which their classrooms are named after. We've had a lot of community members come in and just like speak to our brown bears, speak life into them. We do a lot of just like identity work, identity building, but it's more than just like teaching them about like HBCUs, because I feel like that's just, like that's one part, but it's like you got to get down to like the nitty gritty, right? Like we also have etiquette classes because like we got to teach them how to like, how to eat properly, how to, make sure they're neat, how to like introduce themselves. Like if you think about an HBCU experience, like they teach you how to introduce yourself, right? Like they teach you how to like make introductions. Our kids, I didn't get that in school. So like it's important for our kids to get that. So like we're teaching them like one thing they're working on now is like, how do you introduce yourself? Like, so I feel like our school in the beginning, it was like inspired by all the HBCUs, but I feel like now we've kind of like become our own little HBCU in its essence. And it's been kind of cool. We have a lot of like ongoing, just like community programs that we put on. We had a wonderful Christmas program that was well attended by families in the community. We have a Black History Month program coming up that's going to be well attended. So we're excited about everything that we're doing. We also, have the ambition to get our kids out to see HBCUs, to walk on those campuses, to see those students, to see the culture, alive in front of them. So they know that, that they can get there one day. They will get there one day. And we're going to make sure we get them there.
Let's go back to the chartering process, because I know, this is a national podcast. So when you talk about North Jacksonville, North Jacksonville is more of African-American, right? So it's more people that look like us for the most part. Some places in North Jacksonville is impoverished. I mean, we just keep it real, right? So then getting funding, because of course it takes money involved, and sometimes donors are not us. They don't know the vision. They don't really know about HBCUs, right? So how was that process to ask for money, receive money, to kind of get the funding available to even go through the charter process to start it?
Yeah, like that's a big piece. That's the biggest piece, right? Like you got to have the money to operate. So you got to have the funds. So for us, it was a lot of educating. It was a lot of me really being really clear on the vision, and like being clear on what it is that we're doing, being clear on why we're doing it, and being able to sell that. And I think I did a good job of doing that. We actually, did get a lot of national support in terms of to help start up, because when you open up a charter school, the hard part is you got to have the money to start up, right? Because the state's not giving you the money to get the school off the ground. So you have to essentially raise or have the capital yourself. So
not even federal. I know state, but you don't have, because of nonprofit 501c, I'd imagine no federal funding through grants or anything of that nature.
There is, but that funding, it doesn't come to you until you got to have the charter written. You don't have to have your charter approved, but you need to have your charter approved. And then all of those grants are reimbursable in the state of Florida. So, we did receive a federal grant, but it's you got to have the money to be able to put up first in order to get reimbursed back. So we did receive a lot of national support from some national venture programs that help support charter schools. And those programs also provided me with networks, and also provided me with the support that I needed to get the school off the ground and up and running.
What was the situation like getting the real estate for the school? Did you have a build from the ground up? We kind of took a building and gutted it, or how did that situation come about? I know that was a hard piece of it.
That was the hardest piece. Was the hardest piece. Yes, that was the hardest piece for me. Each founder has their own strengths and weaknesses. For me, I had been trained up and I knew how to run the school, right? I had all that down pat. Writing the charter application, did that in my sleep. But that real estate part was whoa, it was I had to learn so much. And that was a really big challenge for us. So what we ended up doing was we ended up going, there's a shopping plaza in Jacksonville, historic. It's the Gateway Town Center. Right off of Norwood Avenue. And we actually found a spot in Gateway that had actually been a school before, but it hadn't been in operation for 20 years. So you can imagine what the building looked like. It was a mess. So we had to, so the bones were there, and that was good for us because the bones was there, but we had to go in and bring all that, obviously upgrading it and bring it back to life. So that was a big challenge. So right now we are in the shopping center. And we're in a temporary location, but the goal obviously is for us to continue to grow and scale. And whether that's continue to grow in the space we're in or build a space. And then right now the market is just super crazy. Building is really expensive. Even renovation work is really expensive. So we just had to do what was best for us to financially to get off the ground and figure out the rest from there.
That center, just historically being in a community we're in, you had a lot of African-American entrepreneurs there, a lot of people that had their own businesses, own insurance agencies there. So definitely if you're able to kind of evolve and have that grow from a revitalization standpoint, that'll just help the community by itself. So that's pretty cool.
It already has. I'm starting to see the difference in Gateway, bringing life back to it. The school, we're not going to take credit for all of it, but the school has definitely brought some life back to it. And Gateway, there's now a lot of community wraparound support within that center. So there's a health clinic, they have work source. So it's really just a school just kind of made it all fit together. And it feels good to be out there, the different businesses out there, they all support us and love to see the kids and like I said, it's bringing life. And I think and I pray that it's, bringing hope to the community.
What's your current role at the school? I know you said you did some, it was a lot of founding, like boards. And what's your current role with your school? Like, are you principal or are you just kind of staying out the way and doing the executive route? Like, what's your current role?
Man, I'm chief everything officer right now. It's chief everything officer. So technically my title is executive director. But I made the intentional choice to run the school. Like, it's my vision. Like, I've seen it. I dreamed about it. You know what I mean? Like, I've dreamed this. So it's like, I want to have a hand in like making it come to fruition. So I am the principal of the school. So you can imagine what life is like, wearing those two hats of like, supporting teachers and students and the families, but then also having to like raise money and, like still, build community partnerships. And some days I'm like, how do my brain, keep all the things that's in it, because it's a lot. It's a lot of moving pieces. But I'm really fortunate to have a good, strong founding team, and just really fortunate to have like the support that we have to make it happen.
So faculty standpoint, like how many faculty you have and the students? How many students do you have?
Yeah, we have 82 brown bears. And we have
man, okay, that's a nice size, man.
Yeah, we're doubling next year. So and it will be 160 will be K2. We're doubling in size. Right now we have 10 staff members. And next year we'll obviously double that. We're growing.
That's an extreme amount of growth. So like how's the intake process? Is it like they have to test? Is it a certain requirements that's needed? So how's the intake process come about?
We're a public charter school, so we have an open enrollment. So we have a window in which we accept applications, and if we have more applications than the number of seats that we have available, then we have to run a lottery. And we run the lottery, and then from there, parents are able to, brown bears are accepted. But we do not discriminate. Our school is open to any student in Duval County. We're actually open to students outside of Duval County if the parents are willing to drive their child in to receive a quality education.
From 80 children to 160 in a year, like that's just a large amount of growth.
That's
like,
growth right there.
Yeah, I know.
One kid, now you got two, and so that's different.
And you glossed over that just like regular, like that's not regular.
double kids. Like you ain't get a half, you got a whole nother one.
Yeah. Man, salute to you. So question. So are you a Kanye West fan? Because I know the logo is a bear, like the Kanye West, from College Dropout, even though we don't want none of the children to be dropouts.
Kanye right now. Kanye,
I know. No, we want the old Kanye.
Religion and stuff, you're a little blackball right now.
Right.
And we want the old Kanye, not the new Kanye, man.
I do love Kanye. I feel like Kanye, like I love music. Like I've always loved music, even as a kid. And, College Dropout definitely played a big role in my life. But like Kanye, to me, made it cool for a Black boy who was like me to like, wear a polo and a backpack, right? Like if like the high school I went to, it was either like playing football or a sports star or like you thugged out, and like there was no in between, right? And Kanye like created a space for that in between. So like I've always loved Kanye, and I've always loved brown bears. So people think that the school is like inspired by Kanye, but it's actually it pays homage to the first elementary school that I went to. So in Jacksonville, on the east side, the first elementary school that I went to was R.R. Brown Elementary School. And R.R. Brown is, home of the brown bears. The first book I remember reading, and I always loved this book, is Brown Bear, What Do You See? So like that always just like stuck with me. And when creating the logo for the school, like I wanted something in which like our kids could like see themselves. I wanted something that was cultured. I wanted something that was like hip and modern. And, like Kanye's, College Dropout bear was like definitely like an inspiration for us. But our bear is like completely hand-drawn, redrawn, and reconstructed to fit the culture of our school. But that was an inspiration for us. And, it pays homage to him too. And, providing that space for a black boy like me.
Going back to your point about Kanye making the backpack cool, I do have to say he made the 2-strap backpack wearing cool because, we would wear the backpack on one strap the cool way. He made it cool to wear both straps. It was cool. So shout out to Ye for that.
Right.
Most people say, Blueprint is like the greatest album of all time. But like, bro, like you could listen to every single song and it hits you different. Like every song just hits you a certain way. I'm not gonna be blasphemous to say that's the greatest album, but that has to be top 5, man. Because this is a great album from like the lyrics, like the horns and the violins and the strings. Like people wasn't doing that. He was doing that with like beats itself, but like to kind of amplify that sound. And like he basically like created his own sound and his own rap melody, and just like on one album. Like that's a great album, man. That's why I say I want the old Kanye back.
Think about it, it's almost like he was kind of mimicking Jay-Z's Blueprint. Like Jay-Z had this whole Blueprint theme, and Kanye had this whole schoolboy, college dropout. And then I guess I forget like what the other 2 albums were named, but they were centered around like the bear and like whole late registration. It was like school thing. Mm-hmm. So he kind of took like Jay-Z's Blueprint and kind of put a spin on it, made it super cool with this bear and like school stuff. Like even talk about Greeks and stuff in his music.
Yep.
So yeah, definitely, man. Kanye created a whole vibe, and I don't know if people appreciate it enough, but I think people of our era definitely appreciate it when people say you want the old Kanye back, like that's a thing. Like we be like, oh man, like what day is that person gonna come out? Because Kanye now you never know what you're gonna get. We be like, maybe the old Kanye gonna sneak out one day, but we better pray for Kanye. Man, he got his issues. Man, anybody who loses $1.4 billion in one day, bro, like that's just that's tough. Like that's tough. That's tough, Kanye. So at HBCUs, we have this thing called purging, where like you sign up for classes and out of nowhere your classes is gone. Like they purged you. Like out of nowhere, when your funding don't come in or you ain't do what you supposed to do and get your documents in on time. That's getting purged. It seems like it's out of nowhere though. Like where does it come from? So when you was at University of North Florida, you ever get purged?
I did not. No. I did not. We
a couple of us out there
streamlined financial aid process. I didn't have to stand in no lines. Like we had the systems. You do it all online. So I didn't experience those HBCU. Like they call it like a haze. I didn't experience that haze from an HBCU that most people are familiar with. And our brown bears are not experiencing it either. Like our parents, like we make sure that, we do things right. We want to make sure that we do things right. Like we're a black school, but we don't want to be that black school that's just like, we always late. And we all, like those type of stereotypes. Because we are, building students who are being prepared for the 21st century. So our kids are not experiencing that, but I have heard of the HBCU haze, and I've heard many stories, and I love hearing them. It's a part of the process.
Where do you see your school in 10 years, man? I mean, you hit us with a big one. You say you doubling in 1 year, so. 10 years, man, you're going to need a whole university campus. You're gonna buy out the whole shopping center, man. So what's the vision for 10 years from now? What's your vision?
To continue to scale our impact, for me, it's about, I believe that every black kid deserves the opportunity to have an education that is high in quality, that is affirmative, and it provides them with a place to belong. So as many black kids as we can impact, I want to impact. As many communities as we can impact, I want to impact. As many hearts as we can touch, I want to touch them, because it's bigger than me. It's bigger than, it's bigger than that. It's about making sure that we help transform this next generation, because quite frankly, our kids are not going to college, if we, they're not graduate, I'm looking at the community, a lot of my kids who I taught, coming back and what you're doing, and it's nothing. It's a lot of them hopeless, a lot of them lost. And I refuse to bring up another generation like that. We can't do that. We can't keep having that. So like it is important for like Black kids to feel love every single day they come to school. And I want to make sure that as many Black kids as I can make that possible for, like I want to make it possible for them.
So, I have my own investment firm in the financial industry, and I was reading a report on African-American wealth and income. And it was a study that said by the year 2056, so we have a chance to reverse this, but in the year 2056, the median income for African Americans will be less than $5,000. So like what's happening in our community is that we have the haves that are graduating, getting good jobs, rocking and rolling, growing, being successful in business or corporate America or in education. Then we have the have-nots that are getting in trouble, not graduating, going to jail, being incarcerated. So that it's that whole cycle that they can't get a job. So then in our community, it's a split, right? We have like the quote unquote uppity African Americans and then like the quote unquote hood African Americans, and it shouldn't be a split, right? So you doing what you do to help bridge that gap so individuals don't go left per se. I do nothing but commend you for that, man.
Yeah, and a big part of our vision and our mission is like teach our kids to serve, right? As much as you receive, you give back. And for me, like that's extremely important. Like I started my career, the first thing I did was went back to my hood, my community, and taught. Like everybody thought it was crazy. Like you went to school 4 years to do what? To go be a teacher? Because like in our community, like teachers not always looked upon as like an esteemed profession or whatever. And especially as a Black man, like you're going to do what? Deal with kids all day. But for me, it was always about like giving back. Like making sure that like this next generation like sees something different, like sees a different type of Black man, like create a different narrative. And my ultimate goal is to see them, obviously be successful, but whatever community they're in, they're gonna make an impact. They're gonna serve in some type of capacity, in some type of way. Like we put that in them every day, all day.
Your vision sounds you're extremely strong about your vision, but I'm guessing that when you say scale, you're gonna possibly do a middle school and a high school with this. And the second part is your staff just as inspired as you are about this HBCU thing, or they just kind of, teaching the kids?
Yeah. What's crazy is that somebody else just asked me that same question at the gym. So second time. Our staff is 100% Black, 50% Black male, 50% HBCU alum. So like our staff is all about the mission. They bleed it and believe in it just as much as I do. And my job as a leader is to continue to put it in front of them and continue to refine it. So like, I'm always like, we always like honing in on it and figuring out ways in which we can continue to enlighten our brown bears in terms of like scale and growth and what it is that we want to do. People say I'm crazy, but like, I don't know. Like I've seen some networks, like I'm still up in the air about like whether Becoming will be a K-12 system or if it will be just like elementary schools. And the reason why is because like I've seen some who are K-12 and, they just don't do them all well. Like you might have a strong elementary school, but your middle school and high school suck. And I don't want that to be like our narrative. And I don't want to be like, and I've been at all levels. I know all levels, but I don't want us to be like, I want our kids to have a real positive, like experience like throughout. That's really intentional and high in quality. So we're still wrestling with that, what will Becoming be in middle school? Like what would it be for like middle school and high school? I'll tell you right now, our parents are already like, you open up a middle school, right, Mr. Frazier? I'm like, they just in kindergarten, Mom. Like, give me a couple years. They're already planning it. So and it is tough too. Like I've seen where like kids like leave a community and then go into other schools, other communities and not do well because like they're missing that support. But I also want our kids to be strong enough to wherever they at, they can hold their own, right? Wherever they're at, they're confident. Wherever that they can read, wherever that they're smart, wherever that they have everything that they need. So no matter if they win that brown, they're always a brown bear. They always gonna be a brown bear no matter what. They always gonna represent the school no matter what. They become president of the United States. Guess what? They are brown bear at the end of the day. Like that's in them. That's in their heart. So I'm still grappling with that because I do believe that kids should see and experience something different at different levels. So I'm still grappling with that. I know economically and as a business, it's obviously keep them, like it's easy, keep them. But personally, I'm grappling with that.
Yeah, I asked you that question because I'm a fashion designer and I'm into right now kind of unisex adult clothing. And I get do you make kids clothing? And I'm like, that ain't my forte yet. Like, let me master this first, and I'm gonna come back to that. But great model. I may get to that. And they like, people have babies all the time. I'm like, yeah. But I don't know if I want to do that yet. But I'm thinking about it, So to your kind of point, it's like, let me get this thing going, get this thing running like crazy, and then maybe we can expand and do more elementary schools, or expand to maybe even a middle school, start there, and then open it up, do K-12. But I was wondering how you was thinking, because you said vision, and we kind of listened to your conversation. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he probably thought about this at some point, but maybe like, let me make sure this thing is working. Good oil train first.
Yeah, I love elementary school though. Like, I believe like kids are sponges. They dream. They like. I mean, you could do so much with them at that age, and that's the foundation, right? Like, we have to build a strong foundation with our kids, and like, it's so important for them to see Black males at that age. Like, each one of our kids have a Black male teacher in every classroom, including music. Like, they're seeing Black men all day, every day, and they need that. Think about elementary school. Like, you typically have either like a female teacher, and kids nowadays typically have like a white female teacher in kindergarten, and in some neighborhoods, some communities, may get a teacher who afraid of you. You know what I mean? It's like, what is that teaching you as a kid? If you afraid of me and afraid of my skin and afraid, all of those things. So like, it's important for them to like have that foundation to know who they are. And once they know who they are, they can go out and do whatever in this world. But they got to have that foundation first. So no matter what we do, we'll always like open up elementary schools, because we got to build that foundation first with our kids. Like, and it starts early.
So as we talk about foundations, what about like the parents? Do you guys do anything special for the parents? Do you have any programs for the parents that kind of help? Because, not know the demographics of the school, but I know that area, a lot of single parent, blended families. So are you guys doing anything to kind of help the parents kind of go through the parenting process, which probably makes it easier to teach from a teacher standpoint?
Yeah. A lot of what we've seen is that, and I know that the culture is strong because of this. Two things. One is that parents are like picking up on the language that we're using, and they're using it at home. So like, they refer to them as brown bears. You know what I mean? Like, so like, they're using the language at home, like all the affirmative language we're using, like they pick it up and it's transferring into the household. And then I've had like 7 parents over the break, no lie, like 7 parents tell me like, Mr. Frazier, my child came back and taught me this. We taught them about, we did like a sickle cell awareness. We had somebody from the community come out and like teach them about sickle cell awareness and talk to them. And we did like some prep work with the kids and like taught them about sickle cell awareness. And like, they went back and taught it to their parents. And the parents was like, I learned more about sickle cell awareness from my baby in these 20 minutes than I've known my whole life. And the parents like calling each other and like, hey girl, what such and such told you about in school today? Sickle cell, and I ain't going through it. And like, oh yeah, I'm just making sure like I got the right message too. Like they actually like talking to each other. So like that's been beautiful to watch and to see. Because that's what it's all about, right? Like the kids going back and teaching, right? The kids going back and inspiring their household and their community, and like in serving at the end of the day, that's what it is. So that's one piece. And then the other piece is like finding community partnerships. So like there are many community partners out there that we've been connecting with to like help like our families. So like, we have a financial awareness seminar that's going on this month. We'll have a empathy training for parents this month. We have a lot of different, we're open door. We invite our parents into the building and they love it. They come in and eat lunch. They come in and celebrate birthdays. Anytime we have an event, we legit having no less than 100 parents. We had a dad's donuts for dads, 100 dads hands down, like in the building, like supporting. So it's just like, and even if they wasn't there during the donuts, dads, like if they had to go to work, like they came in like an hour, 2 hours later and just like still just like supported. That's what it's about. We've seen a lot of our dads involved, like a lot of our dads like walking through that threshold and like coming into the school typically like a lot of Black men not walking in the building. You know what I mean? Like not sitting in classrooms, not reading with kids. But our dads are like there. Winter program, like our dance team performed, and the dads performed with the daughters, and they did Luther Vandross Dancing with My Father. They did a dance to that. So our Black History, our winter program, we had over 300 in attendance. Our Black History Month program will have more than over 300 in attendance. So we're always providing opportunities for parents to be involved. So providing opportunities for them to be involved, creating community amongst them, and then also creating opportunities for them to be educated as well. And it's not only through community partners, but it's also through like our Brown Bears educating them as well, which is really powerful.
Are y'all doing anything around mental health and this whole bullying kind of thing?
Our culture is like really built on just like the foundation of our culture is like love. Like if I can boil the school down into one word, it is love. We're always like talking to them about love. We're always like teaching them how to respect one another, and they love each other. Like they look out for each other. And it's like I think the times I've teared up the most is when I see them like just be like really sweet to each other. Now they act like brothers and sisters, and they argue and they fight. But at the end of the day, like there's like love there. We have a handshake that we do, and like seeing them give each other that handshake unprompted. Like they don't shake each other hand regular. Like they give each other like the shake. So like seeing those things, like that has created a community to where like we haven't had too many instances of like bullying and all of that. However, they're kids, like it happens. And when it does, we nip it in the bud quick. And then we also like are training our teachers on how to like nip it in the bud. And, if you recognize that this is what you do, but it's all about building community, and our community is strong. Like the Brown Bear community is extremely strong, and because of that, we haven't had as many instances of like bullying, and it really is an affirmative, loving place. I love going to work every day. Like chart application, like that was one of the first words, love, because that's what's missing in schools today, and honestly, that's what's missing. In general, just like in everyday interactions,
Show love is the Brooklyn way, right? The words of Biggie Smalls. You know what I'm saying?
Excellent. What's your album you can listen to all the way through, no skips?
I'm a big J. Cole fan. Like love Cole, was on Cole before anybody else was on Cole. I'm one of those fans who's like, I was on Cole before anybody else was on Cole. Like, Cole, my boy. I was on mixtape Cole, like before Friday Night Lights. So like I was on Cole early, but Friday Night Lights was like that album that just like got me through college. Like that mixtape just like I probably wouldn't have graduated if it wasn't Friday Night Lights. Wow. So J. Cole, Friday Night Lights, Sideline Story got me through my first year of teaching, but Friday Night Lights is like if I can listen to it or repeat all day, every day, like I can rock with that.
What's your favorite J. Cole song then?
I love all of them. Lights, Please is one of my favorites. Obstacles is one of my favorites. Obstacles is, you have to YouTube Obstacles, but that really is my favorite song. I love Lights, Please. Anything Cole put out, man, I'm rocking with.
He putting it out in a minute, man. He got everybody on standby. K-Dot even put out an album. It's like, what a working.
Well, he dropped before K-Dot dropped, so he technically, put out some work, but we haven't seen I think that was post-COVID. His last album was post-COVID. But I mean, like I appreciate when artists like take that time away to like reflect and grow, because I don't want to hear the same thing. You feel what I'm saying? Like I don't want to hear you talking about what you talked about on the last album. Like, let me see some growth, bro, so I can grow too, So
Derek got kids now, so he definitely got something to talk about.
Right.
You're a great artist when you can like basically be poetic about going through manhood. Y'all know the song I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? And like, but he made it cool. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like talking about the situations and like, that's kind of whack, but like he kind of made it cool. Like the part just kind of going into it and how he felt. Then afterwards, like it was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? So
storytelling, man. It's all about storytelling. I love an artist that can tell a good story.
Give me your top 3 all-time NBA players.
LeBron, Kobe, and I really love Shaq.
No Jordan?
Oh, Jordan. I'm sorry, Jordan.
Oh, you got 3 though. Gave me 4.
Yeah, got 3.
But see, here's the thing though, man. Like I'm not a big like sports guy at all. To be honest, like I would sit home and watch the news. Like I love politics. My degree was in political science. So I like read the news. I don't watch too much TV, but when I do, I'm not watching sports. I'm tapped into like what's going on politically.
Give me 5 dinner guests, dead or alive. Your 5, whoever they could be. Your 5 and why. Your 5 and why they're at your table.
All right. Obviously, my big brother, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Okay. Just because like I'm just inspired by his work. Tough mind, tender heart was like always one that just like stuck out to me. So like I would love to just like sit down with him and just like pick his brain. You know what I mean? Like even like here, like because like there's a lot of parallels to what's going on today. So I would love to hear like just his perspective on those times. Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune, like she did exactly, what I'm doing and is a direct inspiration of the school. Our colors are inspired by Bethune-Cookman University. Our colors pay homage to Bethune-Cookman University. And it pays homage to Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune. So Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune, Malcolm X. I love like Malcolm X and everything he stood for and like in terms of like culture, but then also in terms of just like, like being a man who like, he stood for what he stood for and didn't back down. And I appreciate that.
By any means necessary.
By any means necessary. Oprah. I listen to Super Soul every morning. Like I'm like very like big on just like grounding myself because of the work that I do. Like I have to be grounded. I have to be calm and, centered. So Oprah to me, like she interviews people so well. Like I love like just her style. Like she can get things out of people. Like yeah, she asks like the right questions. So I would just like to learn from her. And then Obama. When I graduated from high school in 2008, and like 3 months after graduating, I was able to vote for president. And the first, my first time voting, I was able to vote for a Black male. You know what I mean? So like that just, I remember just being like so just like in go like during that time, just like everything like following the news. Like I was like who he's putting in this cabinet. Like I was just like into it. Like all 8 years. So I would love to like just sit down with him and to like one, hear what he's learned, like truly, give me the real, you know what I mean? Like, what it is. But then also, like Obama is like our modern day king, in a way. So just like learning from him.
Man, that's an amazing table, man. It's an amazing table right there. Very powerful.
And then if I could throw J. Cole, if I could put a little folding table, I'd probably have Cole.
Yeah, J. Cole stand up at the table. He ain't got no seat. He gonna stand up at the table.
Stand up at the table, Cole. Just bless the folks.
And look, but a table like that, I'll stand up. I'll be the waiter. I'll be the butler. You know what I'm saying? I'll be the chef. You know what I'm saying?
Just let me be, the dude at the door. Scoop that's sat by the door. Let me just,
So I know you have your different theme rooms, but we're gonna get a Tennessee State University theme room. Like, I mean, where that's gonna happen?
Man, I love TSU. Like go Tigers. Like I stayed in Nashville for a couple of years, so I've learned about TSU. I've been to homecomings. Like I've been on campus. I've been involved with like the Greeks there. So I love everything about the culture at TSU and Fisk. To pay homage to them as well. But so to answer your question, so our first cohort of classrooms pay homage to Florida. I'm a Florida boy. We gonna pay homage to Florida. So EWU is our first classroom. That's the first HBCU in the state of Florida. So all of our first 4 classes are named after the HBCUs in Florida. And then next year, we're going to branch out to Georgia. And then after that, we're going to continue to like branch and add on the other ones. So I can see TSU coming on in year 3.
Yeah.
So you saying you got a FAMU room, but you ain't got a TSU room? Is that what I'm hearing?
FAMU in Florida. We paying homage to Florida first. I'm a Florida boy.
FAMU every time. FAMU. So So it's always been a thing. Like TSU, we play fam. We had the big band. Fam had a big band. But also my chapter Alpha Theta, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, FAMU's chapter always was like, it was either our chapter that was winning chapter of the year or FAMU was. And so we were almost competing with FAMU's Kappas, like how many they get active on the yard? All right, we need to bring through this amount so we can top them. So it was always like a thing going against FAMU, all the way to sports, bands, their enrollment. It was like we always had like this rivalry with FAMU, but it was always love because it was like they were always a big HBCU as well. So even meeting some of the fam Greeks, they understand like how many was on your line? 20, 22. They like, man, it was 18 on my line. The Qs are like, it was 30 on my line. It was 15, So they get it because it's big HBCUs. And when I have to tell people these stories, I'm like, with HBCU of 3,500 people, you want us to only pledge 5 people on the yard? Like, right. We have to pledge at least 20 people to make it. We got an interest meeting of 300 guys, So it's cool to hear, like, our rivalry with fam. Ain't no beef. It's just always like we just compete with numbers all the time with them because they're another huge HBCU institution. So. Yeah,
there's many parallels between like TSU and fam. Like I love TSU because like I felt like a little bit more like at home there, because it did feel a lot like a FAMU, just like the culture and just like the community and like what it means to the community.
They take you in, all right? They treat you well.
Man, to be honest, like I've received love from all HBCUs because I'm not one to be here. Like I'm not. I've never said like I'm not putting out any lies, right? Like I'm up front by going to a PWI, and not graduate from HBCU yet. It's been all love. I was saying the Beta Omicron guys from TSU, they show you love. Oh yeah, I'm real. Like I pledged Alpha, so for sure. They definitely treated me well. I stayed in Nashville for 5 years, man, and I built a lot of networks and community and like the Alphas there, especially TSU Alphas, like we built strong bonds, and like I appreciate those guys, and it was really inspired, man. They great chapters. They build strong brands and they build strong alpha men. So like I admire the work that they do, and they've always, treated me with respect because I always treat them with respect,
So my business partner, with the app that we have, led Bob, he actually graduated from FAMU. So we kind of go back and forth between TSU and FAMU. To that point, so definitely we have to have a side conversation because, through our app, we do financial literacy. So definitely something that we can kind of help the school with. I know they're little. We concentrate from financial literacy standpoint with high schoolers and up, but it has to be some type of curriculum we can create, some type of system we can create for them to kind of teach them about financial literacy as they kind of go through the grades. So that's definitely a side conversation with me, you, and Anthony, who's a FAMUer. But to that point, though, once we do get that TSU class, man, like let me know. I think we briefly talked about it. I'm on the TSU board. I'm actually on the foundation board. So definitely, as you build the class, we might be able to have some support there. Maybe do a Zoom call. We're probably with the president, Dr. Glover, so you kind of pick her mind and see she can help you from some dollars and cents standpoint. You know what I'm saying? So as you get closer, definitely need to have a conversation, see how we can help to, make sure the Florida kids know they got FAMU, but they can go up the road. They go up to the Tennessee State and have a nice experience as well.
That's love, man, and that's what it's all about. Like for me, like I want to help build a pipeline for HBCUs. Like I want to make sure that dream stays alive, and Becoming Collegiate Academy, we help make that dream stay alive. And it's no doubt in my mind that our Brown Bears, won't go to HBCU and graduate from HBCU in the future. It's more than just them going there. It's them being prepared for it, knowing how to read, how to write, how to communicate. So when they get there, it's like, oh, excuses. I've already learned that. What's up? Like whatever. I got it all. I got it all. I'm ready. So to truly build them to be ready for that experience. And
I know the kids are into sneakers now. We weren't, but I know the kids are now. I think it's a way to probably talk about this HBCU thing, Nike Dunk, to the kids. I think they'll have a little respect for that because TSU had one. FAM had one, Clark Atlanta had one, and what's the other school? Clark, FAM, A&T.
Yep.
All had dunks come out this year. So I think that'll be something cool to bring up to the kids. I definitely think they'll listen to that and, to show them the pictures like, look, when you kind of, you can show them the fam shoe since you got a fam class. You show them the fam shoe, show them what Nike did behind that. I think that'd be pretty cool, man. Just hearing you talk about the classrooms and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. We got a few sneaker heads. So yeah, that'll be dope. I love that idea. Thank you for that. Like we
go home, be asking their parents, can you get the TSU dunks?
Right, and they're like, they sold out, didn't they? How we gonna get those things high?
They're gonna be looking. They're gonna have parents on StockX trying to get these kids.
Right. Paying double retail. Mr. Frazier, what you doing?
Yeah, that's cool.
With that being said, man, some great information today with Mr. Cameron Frazier. He has a great school, a great story. We just appreciate everything he's doing for Jacksonville, helping our youth. And we're going to have some more HBCU graduates down the road as he expands. Man, 80 to 160 in 1 year. Woof, that's the business. But our coach at HBCU stands for Homecoming Brings Culture and Unity. With Cameron, he's uniting everybody. So we want to say peace. Thanks for the love and see y'all next time. Peace.